So California foreclosures, in California we are judicial and non-judicial. Pierre, do you plan on working in Reno only, or are you going to jump over the line into like South Lake or Truckee?
Probably mostly in Reno.
In Reno, perfect, okay. Reno is non-judicial as well. Yep. So 90% of all foreclosures in California are non-judicial. Yeah.
Can you explain the difference?
What?
Judicial, non-judicial?
I thought I was going to, but it's not up here. Yeah, so judicial is, does anyone know?
One has a mortgage. It's you have a third party in there, and they're going to be the one selling it.
Okay, yeah, so
it's the contract, basically.
So they all have contracts and they all have third parties. That's why they're foreclosing. Yeah.
I'm guessing one involves a judge making a decision.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so one actually is, so judicial means that it's going to go to court. They file a lawsuit that they're going to take the property back, and it has to go to a judge and a jury and stuff like that. California says, forget that crap. We're doing what's called a non-judicial, which is a trustee sale. So you have these auctions. Those are auction trustee sales. That is what a non-judicial foreclosure looks like. It's extremely efficient and very fast, and they can do bulk of them all at once. So this is the timeline for non-judicial. Pierre, I don't know your exact timelines, but we can definitely work on getting that for you. But it's going to be the same concept, just the days might be different. So 90 days late, you get what's called a notice of default. And this is actually, crap, I should have included this in your book, but I didn't. But no, it's actually in your book, my second book. If you want to open that up. I have it in two different places in the book. If you find it first.
78.
All right, 78 or 133. Let's see if 78 is bigger. Perfect. So at 90 days late, so 3 months of late payments, a notice of default is recorded and the foreclosure process has officially begun. So people here, they're like, I got some time. I'm not even worried about it. So they're like, no big deal. I got another 90 days. So after that, they got 180 days late. So another 3 months. Now it's the notice of trustee sale has actually been recorded, and they have an auction date set as early as 21 days. At this point, this is our sweet spot. These guys realize, like, hey, man, you had 3 months to fix this problem. Actually, you had 6 months to fix it, and you haven't done crap. Let's talk about getting some things resolved here. If they want to wait even longer, so this is when the loan, so 5 days prior to the house going to auction is when the loan reinstatement period ends. The loan balance must be paid in full. You can no longer reinstate the mortgage. There have been ways you can get around that, but technically the mortgage company does not have to allow you to reinstate the mortgage. So at that point, hey, what happened? And so price drops start happening. So if they think they have some equity, like, oh, I got 20.
So within that 180 days, correct?
180 days is right here.
Okay.
196 days, and then basically at 201 days.
Price drop.
Price drop is anywhere in between this period here. So between when the auction date is set and the actual auction happens, every day you get closer to that auction date, their equity goes down. Less and less money available because guess what? They're going to get nothing. And so you can really start to negotiate and get some really good price drops. They're like, but I got $20,000 in equity. I'm like, no, you had zero in equity because I don't see anyone else knocking at your door right now. I'm the only guy here. Your house is going to go and you're going to get nothing. Let's maybe strike you a check for $5,000 and get you out the door so you can maybe start moving on and have some moving expenses and get a deposit down somewhere else. Because if not, you're going to be on the street with your family, and you don't want that. And those are the conversations that you have with them. So that's the non-judicial process, and that's also the timeline. And it becomes a very frank conversation with some of these people, and you have to be able to do it with compassion. You don't want to be the jerk knocking on the door saying, hey, man, I'm taking your house. Get out, because that's not going to work. Because the last thing you're going to see is like this, you know. They're going to like, get off my property. So you don't want to do that, but at the same time, you also want to be the guys they're providing solutions and helping them. So, but from the overview, this is what's happening with the pre-foreclosures in California. And I remember looking in Nevada, Pierre, the process is a lot quicker. It used to be in California a lot quicker as well. Does anyone know what the process used to be in California? So prior to 2008, when we had the mortgage meltdown crisis and stuff like that, they passed a bunch of laws and regulations. Whoops. I love how that works. So from 90 days to 180 days, you used to only have from 90 days, you were out like within 45 days it was done that fast after 30 days. Yeah. In Texas, it's 21 days. Texas is a crazy state, man. 21 days to foreclose on somebody in Texas. Don't mess with Texas. They mean it.
21 days.
21 days from your first missed payment. Yeah. You pay your bills in Texas. It's crazy in Texas. Like, I'm like, how do you find foreclosures in Texas? How do you get there fast enough? You know, it's like, now that's the law, is they can as quick as that. Does it happen? No, of course not. Yeah. A lot of these banks have some, targets on their back, and so if they're looking at like, this guy was a jerk to me, they forced me out of these banks. But if you look at a lot of mortgage companies, guess where they're based out of? Dallas, Texas. A lot of them. Nation Star, Mr. Cooper. What's another one that I have right now that I'm having trouble with? Oh, shoot. What is her name? It'll come to me. It's the reverse mortgage company that we have, Champion Mortgage. They're also out of Texas as well. There's a whole bunch out of Texas that are just jerks. They don't deal with people. They're just like, nah, whatever. That's what's happening. So, anyway, just want to throw that in there.
I'm thinking of moving to Texas, by the way.
Go for it, man.
Any Texas stuff.
I got plenty of investors in Texas that are just crushing it right now, but not pre-foreclosure stuff. So, how to find them, guys? So, probate, you're going to find it in the courthouse. Pre-foreclosures, Property Radar, and Zillow. We're going to go into those deep. Rundown pieces of crap, just driving for dollars. Code enforcement, City Hall. Burnt down houses, the fire department. So you're a fireman, right?
I was mechanic for them, but. Yeah.
Okay. So they have an incident report they have to file.
Yep.
And that's public record, guys. I'll show you here. I got a list of the last 12 months of all of the incident reports for all the properties that burned. Whether a structural fire was severe or not, yeah. So I'll tell you about that. So that's one thing. And then tired landlords is the courthouse as well. So, all right, probate, how to find them. Guys, this is going to be a future class that we're going to dive really, really deep into. But in the meantime, because there's a lot to cover as far as the whole probate process and things like that, you don't need to know that. What you need to know is how to find these deals, and I'm going to share with you how to find that. But in a future class, I will share that information with you, like diving deep into how titles are held, what affidavits need to be filed in order to move different things off of different situations. Depends on who died, how they died, different things like that. But for the time being, all you need to do is know is two things. Two names is the decedent, that's the person who has died, and the petitioner. You also need their addresses. The address is the subject property of the house that you're going to be inquiring about, and also the petitioner's mailing address. And that is in there. If you look at your workbooks on page, I believe, page 4. Yeah, on page 4, this is a probate lead sheet. You all get a copy of this probate lead sheet. It's all in your flash drive. It's super simple, but I'm going to make it even more simple for you because there's other processes as well. You just don't go down to the courthouse and say, can I have your probate leads? They'll be like, excuse me? You've had that experience. What happened?
Well, I actually went to the computer kiosk or whatever, and some county courthouses are set up where it's relatively easy to get information, and some aren't. And so far, I've seen completely different. So Sacramento, the first place I went was the courthouse in Sacramento, and you need, in order to get access to the leads or probate cases, you had to have the decedent or petitioner's name, full name, first and last, and or the case number. I was like, holy cow! So I couldn't get anything from that. and then in Placer, you go in there and I could get all the case numbers. And I can get the petitioner's name and decedent's names, but there was no access to the petitioner's address or the subject property's address or anything like that. So it didn't have all the information. And then I went into, El Dorado? Wait. El Dorado County?
Yeah.
And when I went there, I couldn't, everything was open, but I couldn't figure out how to find anything in their computer system. Like, it was so every which way. There was no organization in their systems. I was kind of lost.
Thank you for sharing that.